You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. The Options Insider Radio Network is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. At Fidelity, you'll always get a great value for your options trades. And with powerful investing tools that provide clear next steps, plus independent research and a wide range of investment types, we can help you make better trading decisions. Learn more about options trading with Fidelity at fidelity.com/options. Options trading entails significant risk and is not appropriate for all investors. Certain complex option strategies carry additional risk. Before trading options, contact Fidelity Investments by calling 800-544-5115 to receive a copy of the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Good morning. Today is Monday, February 24th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from Investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Monday. First thing to know is U.S. tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese goods hits. The Sino-U.S. trade war will remain in focus on Monday as U.S. duties on $200 billion of Chinese goods went into effect at 12:01 a.m. Eastern. China canceled mid-level talks with the U.S., as well as a proposed visit to Washington by Vice Premier Liu He, which he said had been scheduled for this week, the Wall Street Journal reported. The door for trade talks is always open, but negotiations must be held in an environment of mutual respect, state-run Xinhua News Agency reported. Negotiations cannot be carried out under the threat of tariffs. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Michael Pompeo said on Sunday the U.S. was not starting a trade war but joining an ongoing one. The trade war by China against the U.S. has been going on for years, Pompeo said on Fox News. To the extent that no one wants to call this a trade war, we're determined to win it. Second thing to note today is Trump meets with South Korean President Moon Jae-in. U.S. President Donald Trump and South Korean leader Moon Jae-in will meet in New York on Monday to discuss how to move forward on a formal declaration of the end of the Korean War. Moon met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un last week. Chairman Kim expressed his wish to finish complete denuclearization at an early date and focus on economic development, Moon said of his meeting with the North Korean leader in Pyongyang. The third thing to know is U.S. futures point to a lower opening bell. U.S. futures indexes pointed to a lower opening bell on Wall Street as investors kept an eye on U.S.-China trade developments. The S&P 500 futures fell 0.2%, while the Dow lost 0.16%, and tech-heavy NASDAQ futures decreased 0.4%. Meanwhile, trading in Europe was subdued with Germany's DAX, France's CAC 40, and London's FTSE 100 all in the red. Fourth thing to know today is Comcast wins a bid for European broadcaster Sky. Telecommunications giant Comcast outbid 21st Century Fox Inc. for Sky plc in a settlement at auction on Saturday, ending a 2-year-long battle for the European broadcaster. The fifth thing to know today is OPEC brushes off Trump's call to lower prices. Oil prices surge. The Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries and Russia pushed back against a call last week by U.S. President Donald Trump to lower prices. I do not influence prices, Saudi Energy Minister Khalid Al-Fallah told reporters as OPEC and non-OPEC energy ministers gathered in Algiers. The group of oil producers is in discussion about raising output to counter falling Iranian supplies due to U.S. sanctions, but made no formal recommendations for any supply boost at its Sunday meeting. West Texas crude oil futures for November surged over 2% to a 2-month high of $72.20 a barrel, while Brent crude futures, the benchmark for oil prices outside the U.S., reached an almost 4-year high over $80 a barrel. Our second story today is from Investing.com. Dollar snaps losing streak and pound bounces. The dollar edged higher on Monday, snapping a 2-week losing streak as investors bought the greenback before a widely expected interest rate hike by the U.S. Central Bank this week, while trade war concerns checked investor appetite for risk. The dollar had struggled as trade war concerns faded and emerging market central banks led by Turkey took aggressive steps to stabilize their markets. But the weekend brought tensions back into the spotlight and boosted the dollar after Beijing released a white paper on the trade dispute saying it would seek a reasonable outcome, while also describing U.S. tactics as bullying. With the U.S. Federal Reserve set to increase interest rates by a quarter point for the 8th time since late 2015, speculators ramped up bets that interest rate differentials between the United States and other major economies, particularly Europe, will stretch wider. We typically see this brief window before a U.S. rate meeting when hedge funds buy the dollar and the trade war headlines are also aggravating that trend, said Viraj Patel, an FX strategist at ING in London. And our final story today is from CNBC.com. SiriusXM to buy Pandora in an all-stock deal valued at $3.5 billion. Satellite radio company SiriusXM plans to acquire music streaming service Pandora in a $3.5 billion all-stock deal unveiled on Monday. The agreement includes a go shop provision where Pandora may actively solicit, receive, evaluate, and potentially enter negotiations with parties that offer alternative proposals following the execution date of the definitive agreement. Acquiring Pandora would make SiriusXM the world's largest audio entertainment company, with over $7 billion in combined revenue expected in 2018. The deal would bring together SiriusXM's 36 million subscribers in North America and Pandora's more than 70 million monthly active users. Pandora shares rose 8.3% to $9.85 a share in pre-market trading, while Sirius stock fell 5% to $6.63 a share. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, September 24th, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart, and have a great week.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.